Stephen A. Smith considering running for president of the United States. He's not joking, or is he? All right, here it is.
I'm not scared. There's a lot that I have to learn. I am no aficionado, make no mistake about it. But damn it, let me hunker down for 2 or 3 months. I'll know the issues. And once that happens, then imagining me on a debate stage with these people, these politicians, this is what I do for a living. When I think about me, and I think about me running for president of the United States, let me re-emphasize that I am woefully unqualified. But a lot of people say so is he. And you put him in. I have no desire to be a politician. I have no interest. But I have been asked by folks in the business world, folks in corporate America, folks on Capitol Hill, plus folks who are friends of mine, to strongly reconsider and to at least leave the door open to the possibilities, because you never know what state our country could be in the next 3 years or so.
I mean, hell, why not? Right? Put him up full mass. Listen, Trump is the current president of the United States of America and is doing the absolute worst job you could imagine. I didn't even know you could break a country this fast. So definitely, Stephen A. Smith. The fact that Stephen A. is talking about preparing for a debate overqualifies him for the position compared to Trump. There you go. Smith has built a career on bold, hot takes. I have disagreed with this brother on many occasions, okay? Most recently, he made headlines for his public spat with LeBron James. But now it seems like political speculation is the newest headline tied to his name, with voters increasingly looking for voices outside of the usual political circle. Smith's name has started to pop up in conversations around 2024 and obviously now 2028, going into 2028. So let's talk about what's really happening. Remember when I said that America created consumers through massive market manipulation, really starting in the late 50s. It started before then, but it went haywire. That's when they wanted people to stop thinking and just buy, purchase. They created these really smart marketing campaigns that made it seem as if you could not live without this brand in your life, okay? And then that brand became a household name. Well, that connected to politics as well. Donald Trump is not a politician. Donald Trump is not a public official. Donald Trump is not even a decent business man. Donald Trump is a brand. Trump, the brand, became attractive to consumers. Stephen A. Smith is a brand. Stephen A. Smith is attractive to certain consumers of brands. I think Stephen A. Smith is actually hitting on something that some in the political movement have not figured out yet, that individuals are voting for brands more so than public service. That's unfortunate, but it's a reality that's happening inside of the context. So less than a month after brushing off the idea, okay, the ESPN host declared on X that he's not shedding the door on a presidential run. Quote, time to stop messing around. Life is great, especially at ESPN/Disney. Hate the thought of being a politician, but sick of this mess. So I'm officially leaving. All doors open, all right? According to a survey by polling group, McLaughlin and Associates, Smith, a registered independent, pulled in 2% of Democratic voters' support in a hypothetical presidential primary. A small number, but one that echoes early polling for President Donald Trump before his 2016 political breakthrough. Smith landed in the same range as several established political figures, including Josh Shapiro, Tim Walz, Senator Cory Booker. Hey man, listen, it is what it is. As I said, people are buying brands right now. All right, brands are hot. Okay, while the poll numbers aren't definitive, obviously, they're enough to keep the conversation going. Which, according to Smith, some politicians are seriously pursuing. Quote: "Over the last few weeks, I've had no choice but to get more serious about it," he said during a panel at the NAB show in Las Vegas. Quote: "I've been approached by people on Capitol Hill. I've been approached by people who are elected officials in office, whether it's governors or mayors or what have you. People have legitimately seriously asked me about it." And I would assume that many of these individuals happen to be conservative. And that's a reality of how they do this many times. So, Stephen A. Smith, president.
You know what's funny, man, is I'm of two minds here. I think the lack of confidence that the public has within the current Democratic Party establishment and order is a real thing. There are real frustrations. People do not like Chuck Schumer. People do not like Hop Jeffries. People do not like these folks. People want something different. I think there are parallels to 2016, honestly, within the GOP, in the sense that they were coming off of two butt whoopings by Barack Obama, who they hated. And we're like, yo, we listened to you guys when you fed us Mitt Romney. We listened to you guys when you fed us John McCain, and you promised us victories and it didn't work. And I think similarly, the Democratic base can be like, we listened to you guys on Hillary and Biden and Kamala and how these guys were gonna stop us from having to deal with Trump, who we hate. And I think there's a genuine appetite for that. And I think somebody needs to fill the void and speak to actual anger that exists amongst the actual Democratic Party base. Like folks, like especially Trump and his cronies, they like to say, oh, we have this huge mandate. They won by 1.5%, okay? There's plenty of people who oppose their agenda. They just got smoked in Wisconsin after all of that money. They don't have some crazy mandate. This thing is very close to turning around, but somebody needs to give voice to the genuine concerns of actual Democratic Party loyalists and voters. And I don't see why Stephen A couldn't be that guy. Like he's been a communicator. That's how this guy has made himself at the top of his industry, being an effective communicator. My only thing is like, who's Stephen A actually gonna be talking to? I heard him say people in the business sector are telling him to run. That gives me pause, Dr. Richey. Like I'm anti the idea. In fact, I think the Democratic Party order and establishment are too willing to listen to the business elite and business establishment in terms of how they run their campaigns and all of that. So while I think a Stephen A. Smith type could give voice to the legitimate, anger that's felt within the Democratic Party base, I'm not so convinced Stephen A. isn't, basically within close proximity enough to the people who are actually causing the problems that he would be any better as a candidate.
You make some really excellent points. You always do. One point I want to echo and add to. When you said they gave them Mitt, then they gave them McCain, right? Or McCain and Mitt, right? And we see what happened. Like those were the gatekeepers in the conservative movement. They made the argument of electability to Republican voters. And they said, listen, to beat an Obama, this is what you got to do. I mean, McCain was universally hated by mainstream conservatives who were active in the party at that time, right? Mitt Romney, basically a moderate Republican, definitely not celebrated by the conservative movement. But they did it, made them the nominee. And then Republicans decided to say, you guys don't know what the hell you're doing. And that's the part that we haven't gotten to yet.
Yeah.
We haven't gotten to the place to tell the Democratic establishment, you guys don't know what the hell you're doing. And when that happens, that's when the tide will turn. Just like it did for the Republicans. It will turn for us, and thankfully, more people believe in our policies than they would ever believe in the policies of a conservative.